You make a decent salary, maybe even a really good one. And yet somehow every single month you arrive at the last week before payday wondering where it all went. Sound familiar? Here's the brutal truth that nobody in the personal finance space wants to say out loud. The average American with a college degree and a full-time job will retire with less than $200,000 saved. Meanwhile, Japan has one of the highest household savings rates on the planet, and their median household income is actually lower than ours. Let that sink in for a second. They earn less, they save more, they retire with more peace. So what exactly do they know that we don't? I've spent years studying personal finance across different cultures, and what I found in Japanese money philosophy genuinely changed how I think about wealth. Not tactics, not hacks. Philosophy. Stick around because I'm going to walk you through 10 habits that explain the entire gap, and I promise you, the last one is the one that will actually rewire how you see money forever. Here's what you're getting today. 10 specific, actionable Japanese money habits that you can start applying this week, regardless of what you earn right now. Each one is practical, each one is rooted in real cultural wisdom, and collectively they explain exactly why so many Americans stay financially stuck while quietly earning enough to be wealthy. The most important insight is coming at the very end, and if you bounce before you get there, you're leaving the best part on the table. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, Kakeibo, the handwritten money journal. This system is over 120 years old, invented in 1904 by Hanny Motoko, Japan's first female journalist. The entire concept is almost offensively simple. At the start of every month, you write down 4 things with a pen on actual paper: your income, your fixed expenses, your savings target, and what's left to spend freely. Then every single day, you record every purchase and place it into one of 4 buckets: needs, wants, culture, or unexpected. At month's end, you ask yourself 3 questions. Did I hit my savings goal? What went right? What do I change next month? That's the whole system. Why does it work when your budgeting app doesn't? Because physically writing something down forces your brain to actually process it. When you tap your card, your brain barely registers the transaction. But when you sit down and write lunch delivery, $38 wants, something shifts. You become a conscious participant in your own spending. Researchers have found that this kind of deliberate tracking can reduce unnecessary spending by as much as 35%. Your takeaway right now: grab any notebook, any pen, and start tonight. The tool costs $3. The results can be worth thousands. And speaking of waste, that leads directly into habit number 2, matinai, the cultural shame of waste. This Japanese concept has no real English equivalent, and that gap says everything. Matinai describes a feeling of genuine moral discomfort when something useful is wasted. Food, fabric, money, time. If it still has value and you discard it, that's matinai. That's something to be ashamed of in Japanese culture. Contrast that with America, where the USDA estimates households throw away roughly 30% of the food they buy, which works out to over $2,000 per household per year straight into the trash. Think about that. 2 grand, gone. Before matinee sinks into your thinking, you replace things before they're finished, you overbuy because it felt like a deal, and you throw away what could be repaired. After it sinks in, your first instinct becomes: use what you have, finish what you started, repair before you replace. Your actionable step for the next 7 days: photograph everything you throw away from your kitchen. Just watch it. That one habit alone will rewire how you shop. Habit number 3, Hara Hachibu, the 80% rule. This principle comes from Okinawa, Japan, one of the places on Earth with the highest concentration of people who live past 100. The teaching is simple. Stop eating when you feel about 80% satisfied, not when you're completely stuffed. But here's where it gets financially interesting. When you apply this philosophy beyond food, it becomes a complete framework for living with margin. 80% of your income spent, 20% untouched. 80% of your closet in use, 20% empty. The US personal savings rate sat at around 4% as of early 2026. Japan's cultural default, driven by philosophies like this, targets around 20%. That gap on a $60,000 salary over 30 years with compound growth is the difference between roughly $300,000 and $1.4 million. Same income, different ceiling. Your actionable step: set up an automatic transfer for 20% of every paycheck that moves before you can spend it. Let your spending adjust to whatever is left, it will. The human brain adapts surprisingly fast. Habit number 4, Kaizen, the 1% improvement system. Most people know Kaizen from the business world. Toyota built an empire on it. But in everyday Japanese life, it applies to everything, including your finances. The core idea: don't try to transform everything overnight. Instead, improve by 1% consistently over a very long time. This month, cut dining out by 10%, not 50, just 10. Next month, raise your retirement contribution by 1%. The month after, cancel one subscription. then negotiate one bill. Each move is so small it barely registers, which is exactly the point. Your brain's fear response, the amygdala, activates when changes feel massive. Big, dramatic overhauls trigger resistance, and that's why people slash their budgets in January and abandon everything by March. Kaizen flies completely under that radar. The changes accumulate quietly until you look up one day and realize your savings rate doubled, and you honestly cannot remember when it happened. Still with me? Good. Because this next part is where most people make a mistake they don't even realize they're making. Habit number 5. Ikigai, knowing what your money is actually for. In the West, Ikigai has been packaged as a career-finding formula. In Japan, it's something deeper, your reason for being, your purpose, the thing that gives your daily life structure and meaning. When you apply this to your financial life, it answers a question that no budgeting app ever asks: what is the money for? Most Americans either save without knowing why or spend without knowing why either. There's no guiding philosophy underneath, no vision driving the behavior. When you define your ikigai, something shifts. Every spending decision suddenly has stakes. If your purpose is being fully present for your kids without constant financial anxiety, that impulse Amazon purchase doesn't just feel expensive anymore. It feels like a vote against the life you actually want. Your actionable step: write down in one sentence the specific life your money is meant to build, then carry that sentence everywhere. It becomes your most powerful financial filter. Habit number 6, wabi sabi, finding beauty in what you already own. This is the direct philosophical antidote to consumer culture, and it might be the most quietly radical idea on this entire list. Wabi sabi is the Japanese aesthetic of appreciating things that are imperfect, worn, and lived in. A table with scratches from years of family dinners. Shoes that are scuffed from actual life. A jacket with a small repair that you barely notice. In America, imperfection triggers replacement. Scratch on your phone screen, new phone. Cushion slightly worn, new couch. The entire consumer economy depends on your constant dissatisfaction with things that still work perfectly well. Wabi Sabi trains you to find genuine satisfaction in them instead. Americans spend an estimated $9,500 annually on apparel, home goods, and electronics combined. Shifting even 25% of that through a wabi-sabi lens means over $2,000 per year redirected. Over 25 years at 8% returns, that mindset shift alone builds roughly $180,000. Not from earning more, from appreciating more. Habit number 7, asoji, the annual financial deep clean. In Japan, asoji is a year-end ritual where families clean their entire home thoroughly and release anything no longer serving them. It's not casual spring cleaning. It's intentional letting go. Applied to your finances, asoji becomes a once-a-year audit of your entire money situation. Every subscription, every recurring charge, every insurance policy, every investment allocation. You sit down, you review all of it, cancel what's dead weight, renegotiate what can be lowered, and realign everything with where you actually want to go. Most people set up financial systems and then never look at them again. Subscriptions quietly pile up, premiums creep, investment allocations drift. A financial asoji catches all of it. Your actionable step: block 2 hours in December or January every year, call it your money reset. Approach it with the same intentionality you would give a deep clean of your home. Habit number 8, chalk-in, save first, spend what remains. This is probably the most structurally powerful habit on the entire list. Chalk-in means savings in Japanese, but culturally it represents a specific sequence. Money enters your account, a portion immediately leaves into savings or investments, and you spend whatever is left. That's the entire discipline. Compare that to the dominant American pattern: earn, spend freely throughout the month, hope something is left to save. Almost nothing ever is. There's a principle in time management called Parkinson's Law. Work expands to fill the time available. Money works exactly the same way. Spending expands to fill the income available. Chalk-in breaks that cycle by removing the money before spending can claim it. According to the Vanguard 2025 How America Saves report, the people contributing the most to retirement accounts aren't more disciplined than everyone else. They're more automated. They implemented chalk-in without knowing the word for it. Your actionable step: automate a savings transfer for the morning after every single payday. Make the money invisible before your spending brain can see it. Now the final 2 habits. And I want you to lean in here because these are the ones that hold everything else together. Habit number 9, Shinrin-yoku, the practice of free living. Shinrin-yoku literally means forest bathing. It's the Japanese practice of spending quiet, restorative time in nature. It costs nothing. But the broader principle it points toward is this: building a life where your best moments don't require transactions. In the US, leisure and spending are almost synonymous. Fun costs money, socializing costs money, relaxation costs money. The average American household spends around $3,000 annually just on entertainment, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Japanese culture offers a fundamentally different model. Cooking meals together at home, walking, reading, visiting parks, tending gardens. The richest experiences happen without receipts attached. When you shift your weekends deliberately toward activities that cost nothing, your entertainment budget drops dramatically and something surprising happens. The quality of your time actually improves because you stop confusing consumption with connection. And that brings us to habit number 10, the one I saved for last on purpose, Hansei, honest self-reflection. Here's the thing almost nobody talks about in the personal finance space. You can have all the right systems, all the right tools, all the right knowledge, and still drift, still overspend, still lose momentum. What keeps every other habit sharp and improving is a regular practice of honest reflection. Hansei is a deeply embedded cultural practice in Japan where you examine your actions without judgment, without guilt, but with complete honesty. What happened? What worked? What didn't? What do I do differently? Applied to your finances, this is a monthly 10-minute review. You open your notebook, you look at the numbers, and you ask yourself those three questions with genuine curiosity rather than shame. This is the habit that makes all the other habits compound, because reflection gives direction to Kaizen. It reveals where Matinai is slipping. It shows you how close you are to your Hara Hachibu ceiling. Without Hansei, all the other habits plateau. With it, they keep getting better, and habits that keep getting better, those produce retirement wealth. That's the whole story. So here's where I want to leave you. Every single one of these habits works on the same principle as compound interest. Small, consistent actions repeated over time producing results wildly out of proportion to the individual effort. You do not need a higher salary to start building real wealth. You might already earn enough. What you need is a different operating system, one built on intention, on appreciation, on margin, and on honest reflection. Japan has been running this operating system for generations. The results speak for themselves. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 habits did you immediately recognize as something you need? Drop it in the comments below. Seriously, even one word is fine, because naming the gap is literally step one of Hansei. If this kind of real, culturally grounded financial thinking is what you're looking for, subscribing makes sense because this channel is built entirely around one idea, helping you understand money more deeply, not just budget more tightly. And if you want to go even further, check out our video on why most millennials will hit 50 with nothing saved despite earning six figures. It pairs perfectly with everything we just covered. Wealth isn't built in a single dramatic moment, it's built in 1,000 small, intentional ones. Go start yours.